Hi there. I'm going to show you how to set up a limited company in your import file. In this example, I'm going to set up an import file with just the company registration number. And because I do the VAT returns for this company, I'm also going to include the VAT schedule. Let's start with a blank template file. We can get to the template file by clicking Import on the left-hand menu. We're going to import clients. We need to download the specification first. You should definitely take a look at this and read the specification before you actually start preparing your file. Now let's download the actual template file. This is the file in which we're going to construct our data. That's downloaded. Now let's open it up. So here's our blank template file. Let's delete the two example rows. It's important that you delete the rows the way I've shown you. If you just delete the data in the cells using the delete button, your CSV file won't be properly formatted, so do take care. Now let's have a look at the columns. A lot of the columns are optional, so I'm actually going to delete the ones that I don't need. It's important that you delete columns the way I've shown you. If you just delete the data in the cells using the delete button, your CSV file won't be properly formatted. So again, take care. So let's go ahead and start putting in our data. Now, one of the things to notice here is that a company's house registration number normally starts with a 0. Of course, this being Excel, Excel has removed the leading 0. In order for us to put the leading 0 back, what we need to do is to convince Excel to treat this as text. And we do that by putting in an apostrophe at the start of the number. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put in my apostrophe. I'm going to put in my 0. Now that company's house registration number is correctly formatted. The VAT returns for this company are done quarterly, and the first quarter of the calendar year starts in January and ends in March. I'm not going to put in the VAT registration number. In fact, I don't actually need this column. I can always add that later on. I'm going to delete that column. So let's set our VAT return schedule to be quarterly. Lastly, let's set our VAT accounting period to start in January. So now our file is ready to be imported, so let's go ahead and save it. Now I want to make sure that this is saved as a comma-separated file, so I'm choosing Save As. And I'm checking that I'm definitely saving as a CSV or comma-separated file. Okay, I'm happy with that, so let's go ahead and save it. We're good to go. So let's go back to Onkho and import this file that we've just created. Let's drag in the file that we just created. Now let's take a look at the import options. I'm going to ask Onkho to get more data directly from Company's House using the registration number I gave by clicking this option here. I'm also going to ask Onkho to create the most common services for me when it imports my file. This means that I won't have to set up services and schedule my jobs myself. Well, that's a relief, so let's go ahead and click that option here. Now that we're happy with the options, let's go ahead and import. I'm going to expand the screen so that we can take a look and check what was imported. We're now looking at what Onkho has read from our file, including the data it has brought in from Company's House. It's important to note that the data has not been imported into Onkho yet. We can actually review the data before it gets imported, including making any corrections we may want to. Let's start with taking a look at the first row. This is the company that we specified, and we can see that additional data like accounting reference date and last confirmation statement date have been brought in directly from Companies House. That's going to be useful for the automated setup of services and jobs. Before I approve this row to be imported, I'm going to change the case on the legal name. Companies House always gives us company names in block letters, but I don't like that, so I'm going to change that now. I do that by clicking on Edit, go into the legal name, change the case. Okay, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to save this row, and it should get processed by Onkho straight away. And there you have it. One row has been processed, but there are still 2 rows that require our approval. Now, the 2 additional rows that we can see are actually the directors of the company that were brought in as part of the import from Companies House. Now, I actually do the tax returns for both directors, and therefore I do want to include them as clients. Let's go ahead and refresh. And now I can edit each of these directors, because again, I don't like the block capitals. Save that. While that's processing, I'm going to edit the second one. Save that. And there you have it. Now let's take a look and see what was set up. We can see our limited company has been set up. We can also see that the 2 directors have been imported and they are correctly connected to Onkho Limited as directors. Now let's go and take a look at what services were set up automatically for us. Having looked at the services, let's have a look at the jobs. Lo and behold, from that one row of data that we supplied, all the services have been added. Not only that, but our jobs have been scheduled for us. So if we now switch to the planner and have a look at this client, we should now be able to see a complete work calendar for this particular client. And there you have it. All of the work that needs to be done for this client going out 12 months and later. And all of this from simply one row in the import file. You should now be able to go and set up your own import file using simply company registration numbers to get those limited companies in quickly and to get a handle on the work that you need to do almost immediately. But if you need more information, visit help.onkho.com.